You're listening to episode 4 of the Wheeler's Dog Podcast. Thank you, folks, for checking out the podcast once again. I do appreciate it. And really, I do appreciate it. And I apologize about episode 3, the sound quality on that thing. I figured out what the problem was. I had the, what do you call it? There's some sort of appliance in here. It's an air filter. Just sucks in air, runs it through a filter, cleans out, gets all the smells out. My wife swears by it. Every time I turn around, she's putting it on high. I'm always putting it on low because the thing makes too much damn noise. So then I got playing around. I thought, okay, well, maybe the microphone is picking up not just my voice, which is just inches away from this microphone, but it may be picking up the air filter. And so if you can create an arc between the microphone and the air filter, that's why it kind of sounded like I was in some sort of dome. But upon further inspection, I found out that my dumb butt forgot to put in the microphone. You have to, on this Audacity, you have to put the microphone on there. And apparently it was using the microphone that was actually on the laptop that I'm recording on. So I wasn't using the Snowball Ice. So yeah, hey, I'm living, I'm learning, and I'm slapping myself senseless. But again, I apologize for the sound of episode 3. I got my buddy Tim Beeman to look at it with his, sound system. I forget what it's called. Or maybe he looked it up on Adobe Audition. But anyway, he looked at it, put a little EQ to it, so it sounded a lot worse than it actually was, or what you've heard. And, again, I apologize about that. Again, living, learning, that sort of thing. So let's move on, shall we? Mm-hmm. And, first on my list was, well, there's all kinds of things on my list for the podcast thing, but the one I want to talk about today, I went to the doctor this morning. That's right. It's never a pleasant visit. And, I prepared for this one. I made a list of things I wanted to talk about to the doctor because I've got some issues, some hard issues that I'm dealing with. So I didn't want to forget anything because the last time I visited the doctor, she was on maternity leave, so I had a PA check me out, and I didn't have it written down. I forgot all about it and didn't bring up my issue, my number one issue. But I had 4 issues to take to the doctor this morning. Of course, they siphoned out a little bit of blood. Apparently, nobody likes doing it, but I hate it. I mean, if I were a pro wrestler and had to use a blade to bleed for the crowd, I'd do it without hesitation. If I'm sticking myself with a pin or something, that's not a problem. As a matter of fact, I don't even have a problem with needles. If you give me a shot, it's no big deal. Just puncture me and get it over with. It's not a biggie. Except when it comes to my mouth. I had 5 root canals in one day back in 1987, back in February, when I wrecked my parents' 1981 T-Bird. I caught the steering wheel with my mouth and sheared off a bunch of teeth on the bottom. And so, that kind of does a little damage. So I had to get 5 root canals. And I will tell you this, the first time I sat in the chair when they were just kind of putting caps on my teeth, they were so sensitive. I put nail marks into the chair that remained there. I guess maybe he's replaced the chair since then, this dentist, that I no longer, I want to say it was Dr. Norman, but I can't remember. And I went to him until, I moved. And so things moved on and different insurance providers, that sort of thing. So I had to move away from that dentist. But anyway, when it comes to needles in my mouth, no, I don't do that very well. I mean, I do it, but I don't do it well. I'm not looking forward to it. And even with cleanings, going to the dentist now, with all the trouble I've had with my bridge work, I just, her scraping and everything, I see it in my mind just flipping off and sailing through the air like a car in one of those accident scenes in the TV show Chips. You know what I'm talking about? They just go sailing across, and then they land somewhere and everything explodes. But anyway, I don't like them taking blood. I've never even given blood my entire life. I know that sounds bad. It sounds horrible. It sounds selfish. I realize that. I just cannot get behind it. It just seems rather ghoulish to me. No. And plus, I'm losing a pint. From what I understand, we need that stuff coursing through our veins. And I don't want to be down a pint, but they say, oh, you feel good, you make more blood, blah. Don't care about knowing it. No. And for those of you keeping score, I'm O positive. I think that means it's fairly universal, so it's common blood. Yeah, no AB negative for me, if I can speak right. But anyway, to the doctor, I took my list of complaints. First up, and my phone is on. Look at that. I'm going to go ahead and turn that baby off. So, I've heard several people do it before on podcasts, but it's a first for me. But first on my list of complaints with the doctor, I have a problem with my right middle finger. No, it doesn't just shoot up on its own and point at people. It turns out it's trigger finger. And if you don't know what that is, it's like when you bend your fingers in to ball up a fist, it wants to lock. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes, when it first started happening, it used to freak me out, when it just started. And I was like, what is going on? What is going on? And it happened like back in the summer before I went to see the doctor, her PA. And then I forgot to bring it up. It turns out it's fairly common. Apparently the tendons in my hand are inflamed. It's like a form of tendonitis, I guess, if I heard that correctly. But anyway, it's not very pleasant. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I feel it lock into place, and it doesn't really hurt, but it just sends you into sends me into like an instant panic to where, I got to straighten that joker out. I can't have this. So that's my list of complaints. So now I've got to wear a splint when I go to bed, and I'm probably going to wear it for at least 2 weeks, just around everything that I'm doing. Just wear that splint on my middle finger. That way I can give that tendon some rest and maybe to calm down and chill out and stop locking. I thought it might have something to do with this cyst that's right on top of the knuckle. Well, it's not right on top of the knuckle. But it turns out it's just a ganglion cyst. It's no big deal. She told me not to worry about it. If it caused me any pain, it's not a problem. So trigger finger, it's what I thought it was by looking on WebMD. Self-diagnosis. Everybody does it. Usually I come up with the worst scenario, like this is going to need surgery. But she did say it could eventually go to surgery unless it chills out. I'm supposed to see her in a couple of months. I'm not sure if it's just that or some of the other deals that I'm having. Second on my list was sensitive nipple. That's right. I thought maybe, as I'm getting older, I'm 53 years old. I'm sitting there thinking, my hormones are probably just raging, just like my wife's. And just like, menopause, maybe it's male menopause. I didn't know. But for some reason, my left nipple just anytime you brush it, touch it, it's just screaming at me, just like, it's irritating. Very irritating. I checked it. There's no color. It hasn't changed colors. I've checked around my breast tissue because there is a history of breast cancer in my family. So I checked for lumps and looked around for that and felt around, and everything feels fine to me. But again, I'm in my sleep and I pull up the sheet or something and it just brushes my nipple. It's so annoying for like a brief second. It's not a big deal. And sometimes the way my shirt rubs me, it's slightly irritating. So it turns out, once she did the examination, that I could be just a little dry. I could have dry nipple. Yeah, dry nipple. Who knew there was such a thing? But the right one, that baby gives me no trouble at all. But the left one, apparently I just need some hydrocortisone cream, rub it on the nipple, and yes, that's annoying too. But, it's got to make it better. If it's not better in a couple of weeks, then I may have to see like a dermatologist or something. Third on my list was, oh goodness, I forgot what it was. Do I still have my list? Because I made a list to go see the doctor because I always forget. I don't have it, but anyway, I'll run down the other one that comes to mind. First of all, is I've been waking up sometimes in the night to my heartbeat rapidly. I mean, I just wake up like you normally wake up to turn over or something like that. But my heart is just beating, and I'll get my phone or my fitness band here to check it, and it's usually upper 80s to upper 90s. And when I lay there a few minutes just doing a little deep breathing exercises, it'll calm back down. It'll go back down to what it normally is, or at least an acceptable level where it doesn't feel like it's, about to run wild out of your esophagus and onto the bed linens, because, that would not be good. Like a chest burster or something from Alien, but I think I've come to the fact to accept that I might have some form of sleep apnea. Yeah. Now, my wife says sometimes I wake up and it sounds like I'm not breathing, but sleep apnea, as I know it, people fall asleep all the time. There's a guy who used to live around our neighborhood. People said he'd just be sitting there playing cards with you, and all of a sudden he's asleep. Just sitting up there asleep. The only time that I fall asleep generally is when I'm laying down to watch television. Even in the afternoons. I'll just lay there, and next thing you know, I'm comfortable, and I'm halfway through the episode and have no idea what's happened, what's going on. So if I'm watching TV, I tend to do it here in the game room on the laptop, so I can access, all those other streaming sites that way. And so I'm not losing sleep, and my fitness band tells me that I'm getting most of the time between 7.5 to 8.5 hours of sleep every night. And my deep sleep is 1.5 hours to about 2 hours average. So I'm somewhere in there. Not always am I there, but that would be my average. And I hear that the average amount of deep sleep people need to feel rested is 1.5 hours. So I think I get enough of that because I drive to Raleigh and Charlotte all the time. And, it can get warm in there. And how you get a little sleepy sometimes when it's warm, but this doesn't happen all the time. It generally happens when I haven't had enough sleep over the course of the night. Something gets me up several times, like the dogs. You know how dogs are. Yeah, we got one that'll walk around the bed and let me know. But if the little one's got to get up, she can't just walk around. She comes over and claws me to let her out. But, that doesn't happen every night. So I think that I might have some sleep apnea issues. I didn't want to talk about it, but who knows? So they're going to schedule me a sleep study in the near future to find out if I need one of those CPAP machines. I really don't mind them. I don't think I mind them. I guess if you can sleep on your side, which that's the way I sleep, I guess that'd be fine, but I don't want to end up sleeping on just one side only. Do you see what I'm saying? There's got to be some way to hook it, and because I just can't do one side only. And besides, with the room that I'm leaving, sleeping on one side, well, my wife will push me along with the two dogs right there to the edge, so all I'll have is about 2 feet to sleep in, which now I'm regulated to 3 feet to sleep in. But hey, that's the way it goes. And for some reason, I cannot remember the other issue that I was having that I brought to the doctor's attention. Hold on, let me pause this. I think the big dog wants to get in. Hold on. Well, it turns out the dog didn't want in the first place. So she just wanted to scratch at the door. Who knows? But that gave me a chance to look up my list that I put into the trash can. And the other thing that I brought to the doctor's attention, I am having some tingling, especially in my left thumb. And sometimes it's the right finger and sometimes it's the middle finger, but mostly in the right thumb. And I think that's I thought it was a carpal tunnel type issue. And I've abused my hands over the years. When I worked for Capitol Records, we'd have boxes of CDs and cassettes always coming down the chute. Just, dropping in because we'd have to put them onto a pallet to where they were going. And these things were coming in constantly. So you just grab one, grab here, grab that, and you're just constantly in motion. And you don't think about it, grabbing it like a Harlem Globetrotter grabs a basketball with one hand. You just don't carry them with two. So eventually that, 7 years or 6 years of doing that, it caught up with me. 6 or 7. And I think that was probably where all this carpal tunnel business came from. So, but I wasn't sure because I had some nerve damage in my left arm back from that accident. Or no, that's a different accident. I had a rollover accident back around 2000, 2001. And I slapped my arm so hard and so fast that I made a big, huge bruise on my bicep. And after the accident, it was like a week later or something, my whole arm was just tingling. First I thought I was having a heart attack, but I was like, okay, there's no sweating, no nausea, my heart rate's fine. What the heck's going on? So I went to an urgent care to find out what the deal was, and he said, well, let's take off his shirt and take a look. And so he saw the remnants of the bruise, and he says, how long have you had that? And I told him what the deal was, and he says, well, you hit yourself pretty darn hard there. He said, there's good chance that you damage some nerves. So I asked him at the time, I was like, well, is it going to go away? He said, it could go away. You could have it the rest of your life. It could come and go. So that was great news. And it's always kind of came and went over the years. But this one's been doing it for, I don't know, about a week. Just my thumb just tingling. And it's everyday little things that I do sometimes, like putting on a pair of pants. You bend towards your back, and it just fires up and starts tingling. So I had to mention that. So, yes, she came to the conclusion that it is carpal tunnel. So now I have to sleep with a splint on my right middle finger and then a brace on my left hand to keep me from, how does she put it? You curve your hands in. It's a natural thing when you sleep to come in, bring your hands in and everything. And so that's what leads to this sort of stuff, or aggravates it, let's put it that way. So I've got to wear the brace to give it a break, let it calm down. And then the splint, it will arrive from Amazon tomorrow. Couldn't find one in the Walgreens. The Thought for sure I'd find there. I could find wrist brace. I knew we had some around here at the house because we're always needing them for something. Somebody's always got some sort of ailment. But I could find those but no finger splints. Just the damnedest thing, right? So hopefully the sleep study, I'm kind of nervous about doing that because, well, you're basically falling asleep in front of a bunch of strangers. And I'm sure it's kind of like you're in a room by yourself and it's, dark. And then on the other side of some glass, there's people, in lab coats, holding clipboards, making notations. He talks in his sleep. That sort of thing. I don't know. But it just kind of worries me a bit. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And then on the other side of things, I have lost weight. That's right. Remember I told you in the last one about drinking water constantly? Well, it turns out that it's working. I've lost weight. So the doctor was quite pleased with that because she's been on my back about losing weight. And that's one thing I like about this doctor. She doesn't let you slide. She's always, telling you. I mean, she's not like pushing it down your throat like some preacher in a pulpit. I mean, she's letting you know what could happen. This is what could happen if you don't do some corrections here. This is what you're looking forward to. And I kind of need that. It's kind of like a boot camp doctor. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get a little better at doing life more and drinking more water. Getting that gym membership real soon. Me and the wife going to get that because I put it off. She kept telling me to get it. And that was December. And I was like, no. I don't want to be one of those people that roll in at the last of the year like it's some kind of New Year's resolution. And I don't want to be there, with crowds of people in January because, they're going to show up. Everybody makes some sort of resolution to get better in shape. And they get a gym membership. And, I want to look at Planet Fitness because I kind of like their model. But I have a feeling that place would be just really packed. And then all of a sudden, probably around March, not so packed. So that's what I'm shooting for. And I think those joints are open like 24/7. I'm not sure. What does a person do at Planet Fitness, at 2 a.m.? I mean, I understand that the whole world moves at a different time clock than what I use. I get that. I understand it. But if you are like somebody that worked there, I mean, how would that be? Like a third shift job working in a gym. I don't know. That just seems slightly bizarre to me because, there's got to be somebody there to maintain the machines, keep everything running, working order, and keep people from, walking out with machines and load them into their pickup truck. And here comes my mother-in-law. Say hello. It's everybody, whoever's listening to the podcast.
Hello.
There you go. She's coming in to get a Lime-A-Rita, I'm sure. Is that the case, Linda?
Yeah,
Don't tell anybody. Whoever's listening to this thing gets to hear it. Are you going to spike it with a little rum?
No, I don't think we have any.
Oh, I don't think we do. I don't know. No, I don't see it. But anyway, sorry about the interruption. Forgot what I was talking about. I think it was about the doctor's visits and all that. But yeah, we do have rum. We do have rum. But she's been abusing the hell out of it. Like I just said, spiking her Lime-A-Ritas with rum. So, there you go. My trip to the doctor, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, and I'm looking forward, not really, to the sleep study. And, changes got to be made. Best thing I've done here recently. And I'm worried about the blood. They did take blood today, and I'm worried about how that's going to come back. Yeah. I've got the fatty liver. It doesn't sound very appetizing, does it? No. But I got the fatty liver, so they're checking the enzymes for, I think they call it cirrhosis of the liver. They don't want it to get that far. So again, that's another reason why I got to get on the treadmill or get into a gym and drop some of this weight. So anyway, that brings you up to date on what's going on with me. And don't forget, folks, this is episode 4. There's one free one left. And what I'm saying, I'm going to do 2 podcasts a week. If you've not noticed, I've been cranking these out. Pretty good clip, you know? And so, episode 6, that's going to be for Patreon subscribers only. You'll still get one every week, but if you want that bonus podcast every week, then you got to pony up at patreon.com. It's real simple. $4 is all you need to donate to my creative cause a month. First of the month, it comes right out. $4. You won't even miss it. I mean, you think about it. Think about all the things that cost $4. I mean, you can't even get a pack of smokes anymore for $4. You can't get I don't even think you can get a meal at Chick-fil-A for $4. So, you know, if you're throwing money around like that for the necessities of life, well, consider my bonus podcast every week a necessity that you need. So, yeah, patreon.com/WheelersDog. And they also have an app where you have it on your phone, which is easy access, because then it will alert you that, hey, the new podcast is up. Even when I post the one that's public and for everybody, you can even see that there. But otherwise, you know, you're only going to get one a week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube. I'm still going to keep that going because some people like listening on YouTube. So again, $4, that gets you in. When you get up to $8, well, that gives you VIP status. Not only do you get all the audio, but every so often I'm going to send out little thank you things. You know, it could be something odd that I find. It could be stickers. Get stickers made for the podcast. It could be having drink coasters made for the podcast. It could be, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But every so often, at the VIP, Behind the Bark VIP, you'll get a little something from me as a thank you. Because I do appreciate it. This is a nice creative outlet for me, and I've been needing it for a while. Been out of radio for, over 2 years now. I stopped podcasting with Tim maybe about 5 years ago, and so now I've just, like I said, the traffic on the blog wasn't like it used to, and I thought, let me give people something easy to digest in 30 minutes, you know, maybe a work commute kind of podcast, and also, you know, take my blog to that next level. So again, if you like what you're hearing and you want those bonus podcasts that are only going to be on Patreon, go to it, patreon.com/WheelersDog. And thank you for listening. Toodles. We do have rum, but she's been abusing the hell out of it, like I just said, spiking her limeritas.